It doesn't go. It doesn't go to the show that we're alive. Usually they go and you can see this and stuff. Anyway. All right, Shabbat Shalom. This is Passover 2024, April 3rd on the pagan calendar. We're live on YouTube and live on the Facebook. Let's bring back up the Zoom. So we're here. Good. Do anybody got any questions? We start here. Do we have any? No questions?
No.
Okay, we start with, we know we go to the Exodus.
Okay.
Exodus 12. You know what we do.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Exodus chapter 12.
All right, who got that?
I'll take it.
Okay.
Leviticus chapter 12 from the top.
Yes, sir.
Oh, the bit. You said.
Exodus. I'm sorry. Exodus chapter 12 from the top.
Yeah.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron.
Hold on, brother.
Are you gonna share it? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can see.
Are we going to Joshua too?
Yeah. All right, go ahead, brother.
Okay. Exodus chapter 12 from the top. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
Right. So we're in that month. This is the 14th day, going to almost sundown, going to the 15th day. This is the beginning of months to us, Israelites. But not being away for other people, but for us, this is the beginning of months. All right, go ahead.
Verse 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house.
Right. Notice, notice it didn't say anything about speaking to Egyptians. There were Egyptians there.
Mm-hmm.
He said that for any Egyptian?
No.
Mm-hmm. Not for Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just pointing this out, because you want, they get crazy about everybody for this, and how come he didn't mention tell the Egyptians too? I said about them, nothing. All right, go ahead.
Verse 4. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb.
Right, so we had, you had people, Egyptians, who was afraid of the word of the Lord. That's in the Egyptians was also afraid of the word of the Lord as well at this time. Still didn't say we'll tell them anything at all. They mentioned saying anything to them, all right? But let me show you what they say we make this stuff up.
Okay.
Come back to Exodus chapter 9. And I'm gonna go back and show this. Exodus chapter 9, we're gonna get verse 20. Got that?
I got it.
Go ahead.
I'm reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 9, verse 20, and it reads, He that feared the word of the Lord among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flee into the houses.
Okay. So we have servants of Pharaoh that fear the word of the Lord. So it's right here, right? He made his servants and his cattle flee into the house. This was one of the plague coming down. So we have servants of them that fear servants of them that fear the word of the Lord, right? Hey, shalom, brother.
Shalom.
Hey, Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom. How y'all doing?
Good.
Wow.
Good.
All right, we was in Exodus. Let's go back. We're in Exodus chapter 12 back now. We just came out of Exodus chapter 9 and 20. So we have servants of the Lord that fear.
We in verse 5.
Servants of Pharaoh that fear the word of the
You
Lord.
want to put the yeah.
All right. So we'll go back to the words. They're showing you to have people that fear the word of the Lord. Still, it wasn't like, let's go tell them.
We're going to go to 5 right now.
All right, verse 5. All right, go ahead.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 5. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats.
Right, so there's your option. You got sheep, or you can use from the goats as well. Okay. It is your option, your choice. Okay. Now the reason why we go with the lamb, right? Because it caused Christ, the lamb of God is that take away the sins of. Let me put it up. Am I saying that correct? Is that what it says? So you got to be sure.
Is Austin's mic muted?
Yeah, no, it's not muted.
Austin, can you mute your mic?
All right, so we're gonna so we're gonna come to St. John's chapter 1, verse 29, right quick. All right. We're gonna see why we going so we can see it. St. John chapter 1, verse 29. All right, who got that?
I got it. St. John's chapter 1 and verse 29. The next day, John seeth Jesus coming unto him and said, Behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sins of the world.
Right, so that's what we're going with.
Okay.
It's Christ is saying as the lamb, not a goat.
The lamb, right?
The lamb that takes away the sins of the world. So, all right. So in Passover, recommend you do the lamb. You can add the goat, but have the lamb.
No.
But that's what Passover says is the lamb. Okay.
Con.
Let's go back to Exodus chapter 12. Now we're in verse 6. All right, who got that?
I got it.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 6. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
Right. So you see right there. So you get the lamb, you inspect it, keep it up all the way, the inspection all the way up to the 14th day of the same month. It says, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill the lamb. The entire assembly, everybody shall kill it. And when? In the evening, it says right here. But this is not what it says in the Hebrew. It says between the two evenings. It says right here.
Okay. Right.
This is what it says right here. Between the two evenings. Right. This is what this actually says. What it actually says.
So yeah, so it's still alive until the 14th day already. So
it's still alive it's still alive.
So like between like
But it dies between the two evenings.
even it's just like Christ.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
between 3 and 6.
No, it dies between the two evenings.
Okay. That'd be between 12 and 6.
2.
No, between 12 and 6.
12 and 6, right? Yeah.
I just want to come and show this here so you can see it. Exodus, show it in the Hebrew. Right? I'm going to highlight what I'm showing here. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. The whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it. It says right here in the evening.
Okay.
It's a reb. Right. They have just have here a reb.
Right. Okay.
The reb is Hebrew for evening.
Okay.
Now I want to show you. You see, we here. This is here we are. This is the breakdown of it here when how you speaking, and this is going back into the Hebrew,
Yes.
right? Now I want you to notice here at the end. See that? It's Ha'ar Bayim.
Okay.
See, Bayim sees plural. It's the I am, it's two.
Right.
I'm showing you it's plural here. The I am.
Right.
It's a rebel.
Yes.
It's evenings.
Evenings, right. Gotcha.
It's evenings.
Yes.
Okay.
Story, yeah.
So you have the ha right here.
Right.
It's the.
Duh.
See right here in the bottom of it.
Mhm.
The definite article the.
Right.
The are.
Mhm. The evenings.
The evenings.
Yes. Con. See that.
They shall kill it in the evenings.
Mhm.
Wouldn't make any sense to kill it in the evenings.
Right.
So how we gonna pinpoint the evenings?
Right.
Oh, you got it. The only way to make sense of it is that you killing it between
The
two evenings.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So I'm showing you here. I'm showing you this is word right here. Bayim.
Okay.
Bayim means between. Says it right here at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's
Gotcha.
only as a preposition between or either.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Is this being? Am I sharing this? Is this?
I think you are.
This is being shared. Okay. I just want to be clear. So that's why I'm saying it's between. It's between the evenings.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's why I say between the two evenings because this is plural. So I'm showing you what it's saying in Hebrew. I'm not making it up on my own brain.
Gotcha.
That's literally what it said.
Okay.
Okay, so we see it here. And it says, right? Because we're here, as our brother Paul said, to prove all things.
Yes, sir.
We say something, we back up with the scripture.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
showing you with the Hebrew. They don't show it here, but we see it here in the Hebrew.
Right. You see there.
On this side right here for sure. And it's over here toward the Hebrew. Right, let's go back now so we can see I'm not coming outside of my neck saying something.
All right. Yeah.
Let's go back to Exodus chapter 12. Now
Yeah,
we're in
verse
verse 7.
7.
So in between the two evenings, you know, we ain't gotta go through it. I did a class covering this on my YouTube channel, right? That's 3 p.m. It is 3 p.m. Many people don't understand this term between the two evenings, and this is why they get the reckoning of the date incorrect. Right? When the Bible says from even to even, which even is that? Come to the situation. If there's two evenings, then which evening is that? You have to find out which evening that is, right? We know that evening is sundown. That's sundown to sundown.
Right.
And then there's the other evening, 12:01, went all the way down to like 3 p.m. All right? All right, let's go back. Who was reading in Exodus chapter 12?
Me.
All right, go ahead.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 7. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and the upper door post of the house, wherein they shall eat it.
So they gotta take the blood and then strike it up on the two doorposts in the front of your house. And it says, and up on the upper doorpost. So it's on the two sides and at the top.
And the top, right.
That's where you're putting it at, right?
I always knew the top.
You're putting it there, on the
Top and the
on
side.
the upper doorposts of the houses. What? Where are you eating it at?
Right.
You're putting it where you eating it at. You ain't putting it in the door where you're not eating the lamb at. You put it where you're eating it at, right here, right? Where they're eating it at. Right, go ahead.
Verse 8. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
Right, so again, we don't put the blood on the post no more, because now that lamb, now Christ represents that lamb, and he died, go back into the first century, right? He now is our Passover.
Yes.
So what do? We do it in remembrance of him. That's what he said, do the remembrance of him. We're not doing the remembrance of when we come out of Egypt, put it on the doorpost. Right? We read the story of what actually happened, but when we do Passover, only read out the Bible, is what he said to do. Doing the remembrance of Christ. All right. That's what we do for what he did for us. He's now becomes our Passover. All right. All right, go ahead, Isaiah.
Verse 9. Eat not it.
Oh, can you read verse 8 again?
Come. Verse 8. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
So we're eating it at night, in the nighttime, right? It's roast with fire, right? You can't boil it, right? You can't air fry it. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. You gotta roast it with fire. Rotisserie style. And unleavened bread with bitter herbs, right? All right, go ahead.
Verse 9. Eat not of it raw.
You cannot eat of it. You can't do the sushi thing. You can't do the raw thing. We're not eating it raw. We're not doing nothing raw here.
Right.
Go ahead.
Nor soldered at all with water.
Sodden is boiled. You can't boil it. Go ahead.
But roast with fire.
Gotta roast it with fire. Right? Gotta put that flame on it. Go ahead.
His head with his legs and with the pertinence thereof.
Right, everything. Go ahead.
And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire.
So we gotta get all that lamb, whatever it is, I gotta be gone by sun up. When the sun comes up, we gotta have it. Whatever's left over, you have to go ahead and burn it. Burn it all up by sun up. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
Right. So we eat it, we girded it up. We forgot our staff. We got staffs.
Yeah, you know, so funny. I was on the way I was like,
We
yeah, I
got
forgot my
staffs.
staff. I was meaning to talk to him and show you how like thinking of it. Like,
But again, we will do it. We get rid of the trek. With the staff again, because you ready to make that move.
right.
So with the staff in your hand, and you shall eat it. He says in haste.
In haste.
Yeah, because we got to get up out of there. We got to get up
Right.
out of there back then. Again, we have to do that in today's time. That's what we read in the history of it.
Gotcha.
He said it is the Lord's Passover. Okay. Again, we're not doing the Zariac nonsense that he's talking about.
So it's not necessary for us to have the staff in hand at this point at a time.
No, not necessarily. But
Okay.
we do it as symbolic, just to commemorate what our people did back in Egypt.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Again, a staff look way better than a gun.
Oh
yeah.
These guys at the Passover got a gun.
Yeah,
Did we not
yeah.
see
Yeah.
Sakari have guns at
Yes,
the Passover?
right. Yes.
There's nothing here but no guns. It's a staff. You have a staff there. I mean, he's better off having a staff in his hand.
He didn't have a
Right.
staff.
Yeah.
He didn't have a staff.
I think he's better off having a staff instead of a gun.
Yeah, I would agree.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
would definitely agree.
Which one of these brothers you in the Passover you having staffs?
No.
None of them. None of them. We had our staff at our Passover last year. It's all in our picture. We got staff in our
Right,
picture.
I agree.
So then the last 2 years we had our
Yeah.
we had our staff.
Yes, I agree.
That's who?
I think it's my nephew out there.
Hey, shalom, peace, welcome, iPhone, welcome.
Shalom.
Oh,
Shalom, brothers. This is Aubrey.
Hey,
shalom,
brother.
Shalom, Mike. Shalom.
All right, we in Exodus chapter 12, verse 12.
12.
144.
What book are we in?
Exodus chapter 12, verse 12.
Yes.
I also have it up on the screen as well so people can see and follow along. All right, go ahead.
Verse 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both male, a man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt will I execute judgment. I am the Lord.
Right, so the firstborn of man and beast, and all of the statues of Egypt also got judgment executed by on them by the Most High as well. Okay, put on the fake gods and the fake ritual stuff that they were dealing with in Egypt. Happened on the Passover. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the house where ye are, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt.
Right. Okay. So the blood is what he sees, and when he sees the blood, he's going to pass over, and then allow that plague to come in there and destroy you when he smite the land of Egypt. So the blood was protection. So now our protection is the Messiah. That's who our protection is. Again, this is why it's pertinent and vital that you believe in him. He's part of your protection. All right? Not believing in him, you're left unprotected. Not only that protection, he speaks up on your behalf before the Most High. And this how it's a symbolic day. Of course, we could go through the scriptures and show you that at this time, Christ was actually present here where we were talking about it. He was actually here. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 14. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
That's why we still do it, even in captivity. You're supposed to do some ordinance. This is something we need to do forever, right? We should keep it a memorial, right? A zakir, something that we continue to remember by speaking it. That's what a memorial is. A memorial in this English understanding is a bunch of nonsense about someone that died.
Oh yeah.
This is not nothing we're talking about that's dead. It's something about keeping something alive by speaking it. Is what we're talking about, right? Memorial. And we actually here doing something,
Yes.
right? You're not going to no graveyard, getting unclean. All right, go ahead.
Verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread.
So you gotta eat unleavened bread 7 days, right? You can't eat nothing leavened from sundown today all the way back again until sundown Tuesday again. I mean Monday to sundown Monday. That would complete 7 days, right? Nothing leavened, nothing that has yeast in it. All right, go ahead.
Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses.
So leaven got to be out of your house by today, sundown today. All leaven got to be up out of your house. Anything that has yeast in it, go ahead.
For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
You're gonna get cut off out of here. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you.
Right. What has to be done? The lighting of the candles, the preparing of the food, the warming up the food. These have to be done. They got to kill a lamb, prepare the lamb, clean it up, and everything else. All that has to be done. Say what has to be done. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this self same day I have brought you armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever.
Right. So we got unleavened. So we got Passover along with unleavened bread together. And the Most High brought us up by armies. We didn't come out all crazy with animals running all over the place. They show you in these movies. We know how army move.
Yes.
The army don't move like that. It's file, rank, and order. Right. Everything is situated in order when the army moves. I brought out your armies. What it says. This is where the Israelites are. The Most High moving with the army. All right, go ahead.
Verse 18. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even.
Right. Okay. So again, we see clear what's missing for a lot of people. They get the at even part. Yeah. Some people believe that Passover is on the 14th. I said at even. You keep missing that part.
Which is the 15th.
Right. This is the 14th. Is the 14th at even.
Right.
So some people actually celebrate Passover on the unleavened bread on 2 different days.
Right.
This text don't say nothing like that.
Yeah. At the exact same time.
It's the fine detail that throw them off every time. Go ahead.
Verse 19. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, then even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land.
So you can have no leaven. It doesn't matter, right? So the stranger or him that is born into the land, these are people who have come under and they want to accept the law of God, right? This is what we apply to them. The sojourner, right? And it's one that is born in the land. And if he's born in the land, that means his parents must reside in the land and have children into the land. He's born into the land. All right, go ahead.
Verse 20. Ye shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread.
Right. Most people don't know how to make unleavened bread. They think it's has to be better when it's leavened, when it's raw, when it's risen. They know it's better when it's not leavened. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover.
Go ahead.
And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning.
You can't go out the house until morning. All right? Got to stay in there. You don't come out your house until morning. Yeah, that's key. Got to stay on there stay in there until morning. And all the food got to be gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they holding the sun.
Hey, shalom. Hey, shalom. Yaski. Shalom. Bro.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, Mark.
Shalom, Mark.
Shalom, Mark.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 23. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you.
That's right. So there was some kind of entity that would come into the house, actually. Call him the destroyer. He's gonna come in there. He was gonna destroy you. He's gonna destroy who?
The firstborn.
He's gonna if Israel don't have that blood up there, he's gonna come destroy them Israelites.
Exactly, yeah.
He put the blood on your houses, so he passed over your houses. But he go to the Egyptian houses, he's gonna go in there and kill their firstborn.
Yeah.
And then the firstborn of animals also.
Firstborn males.
But if an Israelite don't have it in his house, he killing all them and sits out of that house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just showing you again how significant it is for Israel to keep these laws and commandments. We're held to a higher standard again, because if not, it's a death penalty for us to not do these things. They have an option to not do it. We don't. We have to do it. And that's why I keep saying, how are they going to get what we get if we held to a higher standard?
Too much is given, much is.
I mean, they're Johnny come lately. Once Christ come on the scene, and they want everything that we going to get. You know, we were doing this and we came out of Egypt. We had to go do these things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And been getting punished for not doing them for hundreds of years. We getting punished for not doing them. Here they come all of a sudden. Christ did away with the law. We can do the law no more. Everything y'all getting. A matter of fact, we didn't even Israel. You ain't even Israel.
But they don't follow the law.
But they don't, right.
Consequences.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 24. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever.
See, to us and to our sons forever. So we got to continue to pass this down to our children to continue to keep this. So I mean, if that's what it says right here, how can Christ come along and then shut that down? It says forever right there. Did it not say forever? It said pass it down to thy sons forever. Unless forever don't mean forever no more, I guess what it was. All right, go ahead.
Verse 25. And it shall come to pass when ye be come to the land which the Lord will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service.
So we keeping this service here and continue to do this when we get into the promised lands. When they came into the land, it kept supposed to continue to do this Passover. And we know once Israel got into the land, they was not keeping these things. They was not doing it. That's why problems we're in. They was not doing these things. They rarely kept these things when it was in the land. The majority of the stuff that we were told to do wasn't doing them. All right, go ahead.
26. And it shall come to pass when your child shall say,
Children.
when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service?
What does this mean, keeping this Passover? What does this mean? Go ahead.
That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the house of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our house, and the people bowed the head and worshiped.
Right. So that's the response you give to your children.
Mm.
Right. This is not a man's Passover. This is the Lord's Passover.
Right.
This is what this is right here. Not man-made. We're not following no, when you do Passover, we're not following no man.
Right.
Because men love to make their own thing up.
Right.
Like the 55th.
Huh?
Like the 55th.
Like, yeah.
Oh,
Like Juneteenth,
third in command.
making stuff up. All right, go ahead, brother.
Verse 28. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they.
I wish we would just continue to keep doing that right there. Continue to do what the Lord said to do. Right? We definitely wouldn't be here to this day. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the, what is that? Dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle.
Go ahead.
And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead.
Right. So the firstborn got it. Because it was killing our firstborn. Yes, sir.
It said the captives, there was prisoners in the dungeons.
Yes.
So they would have been the Israelites or any nation that was
No, it wouldn't be Israelites.
okay.
It's that was all in Goshen. These are other people from other nations.
Okay.
They had working for them too as well. It wasn't just Israelites working; they had other people, and I guess other people. Consideration when Joseph went to Egypt, and remember he did something wrong and had him in the dungeon. These are people who were working and then they did something wrong, and then that's what they throw you in the dungeon. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a jail.
You'd be in there for a while, and then
That's like a
they pass sentence on you.
It's like a bottomless pit, a dungeon,
No, it was a jail.
Yeah.
like a hole in a prison.
It's a jail.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Verse 31. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve the Lord as ye have said.
So he rose up. He rose up at night. Remember, we were supposed to be up in his house until morning, right? But Pharaoh rose up at night. Like, man, y'all got to go. They kill people. They all go serve the Lord. He says he's going to be y'all got to go. I get up out of here.
It's too much. Enough is
Too much. Y'all got to get up out of here.
Take it.
I got to check the spot. Too much.
Pestilence coming.
There's 10 plagues right here.
Right.
So, yeah, I need y'all dogs.
Mhm.
All right, go ahead.
32. Also take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also.
You want some blessing. Again, they took flocks, herds with them. Again, remember when they moved out of there, they moved like an army with flocks and herds.
Right.
To just show you the discipline. I want to paint a picture. They keep talking about like a bunch of people traveling out of Egypt that was unorganized and out of order. We knew how to organize flocks and herds so we can move in an orderly fashion through the wilderness.
Wow.
It is a lost art. Go ahead.
Verse 33. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste, for they said, we be all dead men.
See, they rushed us off out of there. So we had to leave out of there at night. We were supposed to leave when the sun come up, but we couldn't. They was rushing us out of there at night. They wanted us gone because they thought they'd all be dead. Go ahead.
And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading through being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders.
Right, so we got the bread. The bread was not leavened. We were supposed to eat unleavened bread. So we had it where we was making it. We wasn't going to leaven up the bread. We can't eat unleavened bread at this time. So we got our dough before it was leavened. That's how we had it, because that's how we was going to keep it. We was going to take it, we was going to then bake it. It says they're kneading dough, being bound up in their clothes, upon their shoulders. So we had our bread and stuff, our dough bound up in the cloth, in the clothes on our shoulders, and we move it. We move it in an orderly fashion. I want to be clear. I got to stress how people are moving. We're moving in an orderly fashion. We're not out of order. Go ahead.
Verse 35. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment.
Go ahead.
And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians.
Yeah, they said we got a lot of jewelry and stuff from the Egyptians. So when that's how they made that calf in the wilderness and make all our stuff in the wilderness. This man wanted us up out of there. So they gave us what we needed, because the Lord gave us favor in their eyes. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men beside children.
Right. So we have 600,000 on foot that were men, and then besides, okay, that's the men, and it mentions the children, but then it does not mention the women, right? So 600,000 men need women. So we up in there, going around about 3 million people moving up on there through the wilderness. There's a lot of people we moving. Go ahead.
Verse 38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds and very much cattle.
Right, very much cattle. So we also had a mixed people, half Israelite, half Egyptians, was moving through with us. They came up out of there with us as well. They decided to move out with us as well. All right, go ahead.
Verse 39. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual.
Right. It was rushed out. We had time to prepare and put things in order for us to go. They wanted us gone immediately. All right, go ahead.
Verse 40. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years.
Right, which is this verse is missing the other part where it says who dwelt in Egypt and in Canaan. All right, dwelt in Egypt and in Canaan. This is what it says in the Septuagint. I think it's also what it says in the Dead Sea Scroll. Okay. Right, it's missing and in Canaan. Okay. But we wasn't in Egypt for no 430 years. You have to add the Canaan part to when it was in Canaan. That would then bring in Abraham when Abraham comes into the land at 75. Okay. And at that part from there to from that point of us then departing out, then you get your 430 years. Okay. Not in Egypt for 430 years. The math that they give us for the generations don't add up to 430 years. They give us from Levi all the way to Moses. From Levi to Moses is not 100, it's not 430 years. So we know it cannot actually mean that, right? The scribes who are copying this thing they're not paying attention. They're copying everything correctly. When you copy something for hundreds of times, this is what happens. stuff gets left out, right? Because the eternal math tells you it couldn't have been 430 years. That the text gives you internally, right? I'm just bringing the correction to the text. Again, no one has what they call the autographs. The autographs are known as the original. We don't have the original. We have copies of copies of copies, and I can see they're saying copies of copies for a while. That's what we have, copies of copies of copies. We don't have the original. When you have copies, you got to expect mistakes in copies.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why we have the Holy Spirit to help guide us back to the truth. By paying attention to what we're reading, and then the Spirit guide us back to the truth. As Christ said, I will send you the Holy Spirit, he shall guide you into all truth, bringing us back to the truth actually says. Right? All right, go ahead.
Verse 41. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day, it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt.
Again, host is another word for armies. All the armies of the Lord came out of the land of Egypt, right? Wasn't a bunch of sheep herders and goat herders. We're known as an army. And we see that later on with the war. You know what I'm saying? Again, these are a bunch of men that dealing with sheep and goats, but they know how to go to war as well. They're not one dimensional. Sheep herders and goat herders today, they don't know how to go to war.
Yeah, that's that one dimensional.
But we did when we did know how to go to war. We could take care of sheep and get busy on the battlefield till need be.
Yeah, look at David.
We knew how to multitask way back then. You know what I'm saying? They playing catch up. You know?
Most farmers ain't soldiers.
No. All right, go ahead.
Verse 42. It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is a night of the Lord.
This is that night.
This is that night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generation.
Right. All of us in our generation. The whole nation's supposed to be doing this. Go ahead.
43. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof.
Yeah, no stranger is supposed to be eating it. Right? The first thing the Lord said. With the outsiders, right? No stranger is supposed to be eating the Passover. All right. They conveniently skip over that verse right there. The Lord said to Moses. The first thing the Lord said to Moses, no stranger shall eat thereof. Go ahead.
44. But every man's servant that is brought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof.
So it's your servant who you bought with money.
It has to be circumcised.
And you got to circumcise him. Then he's able to eat the Passover. Two stipulations here. Bought with your money and circumcised. Let's be clear. All right?
Right.
Go ahead.
45. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof.
So a foreigner, again, shall not eat, or a hired servant. He's not bought with your money. He's a hired servant where he's coming to work and you're paying him for some work and he's gonna go about his business. You have not bought him with your money. You're paying him for a service. He's a hired servant. And again, another foreigner again, not supposed to eat. Go ahead.
Verse 46. In one house shall it be eaten, thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof.
Right, you can't break the bone of it. You have to know what you're doing when you're killing this animal and taking out the meat. You can't break a bone. They can be convenient to lift that little point out right there. You cannot break a bone of the lamb.
No blemish.
See again?
No blemish.
But I don't blame you can't break the bone. Can't break a bone of the lamb.
That's a shadow story for Christ, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but I'm saying when
Yeah,
they
sure.
cut the lamb up, they can't break the bone.
Come.
You gotta know what they're doing.
Because Christ had no bones broken, right?
Right. So I'm saying, but I'm saying people are trying to kill lamb and say they can do their own. They know what they're doing.
Just break his neck.
You messed it up right there.
Correct.
You ruined it already.
Come.
Oh, you're talking about as you kill them, right?
Because the whole
Period. When you could cut it, when you doing it and everything else, you cannot break the bone.
You gotta be careful.
preparing
You
it.
gotta be prepared. You gotta know what you. That's why remember he said when you're doing it, you're doing the whole thing. I guess that's why I said rotisserie style.
Come.
Oh, okay.
You
Yeah.
put them on that thing, the whole thing, right?
Right.
What you're doing, you're cutting off the skin.
Right.
Right.
You
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you gonna cut the belly
Right.
to get all the guts and the inside of it, and the
Right.
intestines, all that stuff out.
Yeah. Falls out.
Okay, when all that is out, then you're gonna go ahead and go.
Start
That's
rotisserie.
Yeah, you're gonna flame boil. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, that frame
Roast
boil
it.
them. Boil. Burn off. Roast them.
Roast.
There we go. Just roast them.
Yeah.
Not Whopper style.
Yeah. Rotisserie.
There we go. Rotisserie. There we go.
Get that fire on. I mean, that's the best way to eat any kind of animal. You gotta do it.
Rotisserie chicken.
Right, like that.
Flame. Yeah.
And I like to do like in Hawaii with the pig.
Like
I like what you do in Hawaii
Yeah,
with I like to do in Hawaii like with the pig, right? Like with
we're not doing no pig though.
no, not the pig. I'm talking about the style they do when they roast the flavor. Yeah, not the pig.
We don't want to clarify that
Like
we're
not
not
the
doing
pig.
pig.
No, we're not doing the pig.
No, we don't do pig.
the bottom feeders.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 47. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it.
Every Israelite is supposed to be doing this.
Yes. Okay.
Go ahead.
48. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof.
Right. So when a stranger comes, and what he's saying is sojourn, he's talking about coming to be a permanent resident.
Okay.
He's talking about staying, right? He's talking about just coming for a while and staying. So everybody's saying when he's sojourning, he's becoming a permanent resident.
Okay.
And you want to keep the Passover, then all of his males got to get circumcised. Again, that's why people get mad at us, right? When we talk about we're not African, because the white men are pounding in our people's head, and we're African, right? But Africans circumcise their women. This text clearly said you can circumcise all his males.
Wait.
There's nothing about circumcising no women.
Wait. How the woman circumcised? How do you do that?
It makes sense.
We finna deal with that on another time.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, we deal with the past. We don't
No
want
problem.
to, anybody can Google it,
Okay, I'll Google it.
right? Again, they have a whole bunch of different tribes over there,
That
and they don't
sounds
get
weird.
along. Let me see, they keep telling you these people don't get along over there.
Right. Yeah, they don't get along.
The next village over don't get along with the next village right over there, and you can tell them because they have different tribal marks on their faces.
Okay.
The little marks on their faces is different colors and different designs. They're different. And again, they don't get along. But they're gonna try and tell you that how we all African. When you go to Africa, first of all, Africans don't call themselves Africans. Just start there. They call themselves by their little tribal affiliation.
Okay.
What they do over there. So when African hear you say African, they're looking at you if you crazy. They're like, who's that? They don't call themselves that. But our people up here don't know nobody. If you don't believe me, go ask us all called African. That's over here. So he'll tell you. He identified by his tribal affiliation.
God.
And again, we were talking about, we were saying this when we was on the beach, and an African man came up and said, "You are completely correct. That's exactly how we do it out there in Africa." They do not get along. Again, I'm saying that because we all again, they get crazy when we say, say we're not Africans. They thinking here we go with this. Here we go with this. What they call it again?
Separation.
No, because some kind of fighting against yourself. Type. Here go these brothers here. They want to claim they're African now. All of a sudden, you're not African. We all come from Africa, brother. No, we all don't come from Africa.
Of course.
It's clearly incorrect. Do some old histories and studies. We all don't come from Africa.
Africans don't even like us. Like they come over here.
Again, they don't. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Again, ask Africans that are over here. They'll tell you.
Cotton pickers.
You can't go over there, but the ones over here straight up tell you. You don't believe me? You can fact Google it. Or you go on YouTube and punch it in. You can see that up their videos pop, but Africans will tell you. They'll tell you on their video. You're not our people. And we don't like it, they'll tell you. If you don't believe me, they're not making it up. They'll tell you themselves.
I've seen they even got cannibal tribes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they do. They have those there. Yeah,
How have you ever heard of Africans selling Africans? They want to try to tell you Africans sold Africans into the white man.
Right.
No, Africans and some Africans to the white man to slavery. Africans sold Israelites to the white man to slavery.
Yes.
This is what actually happened. Why would you sell your own people to your enemy?
Mhm.
It diminish your numbers in fighting. If I can fight against a country and I can just have you sell your people to me, I really ain't got to fight you.
You already won the war.
Right or wrong.
Why the soldiers are having,
That's a good point out there. That's nice.
and you already know the land how to get at them.
Yeah. If I can buy your people, you gonna sell your people. You've divided as it is already. Yeah, you're lost already. I'm saying a little bit of common sense can tell you what they're telling us is a bunch of lies. I couldn't have done what have happened.
Buy an army from you to turn against you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna sell my own people to you and then have you later on come conquer everybody and take over the whole country.
That makes sense.
That's what happened. You know what happened? Doesn't make sense. So they wasn't selling Africa, they were selling Israelites.
Wow.
Again, and they have it in their movie, the documentary. You can look at Shaka Zulu. It's right in Shaka Zulu. They tell you right there who was people that was in chains. And the white man was there. They say who they were. Yes, sir.
Israel is on the African continent, right?
No,
No.
it's a lie. Israel is on the African tectonic plate. Is they call it
Northeast Africa.
Northeast Africa, which is a bunch of nonsense.
We all thought that, brother.
Again, if Israel is in Africa, then so is Arabia.
Right.
Because Arabia is between Africa and Israel.
Yeah, but
The Arabia Peninsula is right there.
Right. So,
Wow.
so for that logic, Arabia should be included.
Have to be in there, but they don't say that though. They don't say Arabia is in Africa. They don't say that.
Yeah, they don't claim
They don't say
that.
that. Those are Arabs.
Right.
They don't say that.
Right.
Because then Arabs are African.
Right.
Come.
Right.
Again, a little bit of common sense.
Mhm.
Look at the map, and you can see what they're telling you don't add up. They're
I'm
lying.
going to look at that map.
Wow.
They lying to you.
Mhm.
But they didn't lie to us about Egyptians. They're in the African continent, right?
Yeah,
They are.
Okay.
Yeah,
Egyptian.
Egyptian, that's in Africa. Yes, that's the continent known as Africa. Again, we don't know where that name comes from.
Right, because it was called
You get a million stories of where the name Africa comes from, right?
Afrikaners.
You hear from,
Yes,
from a white man named Afrikaners,
Right.
but the Pan Africans will argue to a day that no, that's not where the name comes
Oh,
from.
that's what I said. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they are not going to concede that they continent is named after a white man. You're not going to concede to that because why? They have to then change it because they're running around calling themselves a white man.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So they're never going to say that. Oh yeah, a white man named it Africa.
Leo Scipius Africanus.
Yeah, they're not going to concede to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you ask them, then where did the name come from then?
Right.
And they can't really give you no definitive answer.
Right.
Well, they said Africa means black in Greek or something like that.
Who say that?
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know how to catch up with that word.
So you're at the mercy of these people just saying a bunch of stuff, and they just want you to just believe what they're saying. But again, with a little common sense, you can see through the gospel that they're trying to tell you don't make no sense at all whatsoever.
Because the biblical name is Canaan, right?
Well, that's
No, that's not Canaan. Now, Canaan is after the land of Israel was named before.
Okay.
Israel.
Yeah. You all do know what that land is. Was the top part was called Egypt, where we was up over there. And a little bit lower, we ended up as Cush was called Ethiopia. Those are land, and then this Put was over there, one of the other sons of Ham. Those are all kind of things that we can for biblically, I'm saying, for biblically. Right. But again, you had another Cush that was way in Mesopotamia, because Nimrod is a Cushite. Nimrod ruled over that side.
Okay.
Over in Mesopotamia, up in Iran area, Nimrod ruled all of that. But he's a Cushite. He wasn't ruling down here in the middle of Africa where Ethiopia is today. He wasn't over there. He was all the way on the other side. So people say Cush, they immediately want to identify Cush with Ethiopia. But the Bible is telling us no, that is incorrect.
There's two.
The Cush is speaking of is got to be up there in Iran, Iraq, Turkey area. And then there's another one coming down right below Israel. That land up over there, which was then called Arabia, the land of Midian. The text tells you this in verses that thing was also called Cushan, Cushite land. It's not identifying in Ethiopia. That's not what they was talking about. Again, you got to pay attention to the text, what it's saying, and then put it on a map, what it is saying. You will see clearly he's not talking about Ethiopia. That was not where they were. What the Bible is calling Ethiopia or Cushite is not in Ethiopia. It's in the land known as Arabia today, or all the way up there in Turkey and Iraq area. That's what it's speaking of. So you need to put it on a timeline and get on a map and see it, and you see for yourself that it couldn't be what they're saying it is. Again, that's how they lie to you, because you're not going to go fact check them.
right. No, you're not gonna do that.
You're not going to fact check them, so you're going to go with the lie. Then you go running around repeating the lie, thinking you're saying it's correct until someone that fact checked them pointed out to you and said, no, that's wrong. And then you go argue with like you know what you're talking about, but you show you're wrong, and then you get upset.
So it always happens.
And who you mad at?
So,
You mad at the guy that showed you the right thing. Instead of mad at the person that told you to lie, you're mad at them told you to lie. You mad at the person that pointed out the truth to you. That's what you get mad at.
Backwards
For real. Words for real.
Then get ready to fight the guy.
They want to fight over it. You know what I'm saying? They're ready to fight over it. And you're the one that's wrong. Because you swear for nothing, they don't tell you the truth when they did not tell you the truth.
when you should be thinking this, gentlemen.
You should be right. You be thanking the person. Oh, bro, thank you
for the correction.
for the correction.
And the truth. That's what I got to say. Is that don't shoot or kill the messenger.
Let's go back where we were. Yeah. But it's a hard thing to find out you've been told a lie for years, and that's what I'm pointing out to you. And then you have to now you got to be the one to now swallow that pill.
So who's those?
You've been believing lies for so long, so hard. That's why I say you got to stay humble.
Who's those people in Ethiopia?
Who?
The Ethiopians.
They're Cushite.
The Cush.
Yeah, but that's later on though.
That's way later on.
Yeah, when the Bible is talking about Cushite from Nimrod, and Cushan, geographically, when you read the text, it's speaking of it was in Arabia, or it'd be up in North Turkey is what it's talking about. But when you go to Nimrod area, because Nimrod is a Cushite. You're right. Nimrod is the son of Cush, and his empire it says was where in Iraq, Iran.
So
That area there, that's where it was. So that's the first original Cushite empire is in northern Turkey.
Babylon.
In Babylon, Iraq, that area, that's where the first Cushite was not in Ethiopia.
That makes so much sense.
That was not where Nimrod was.
Because Nimrod is related to Abraham too, right?
No, he comes out of Ham.
Yeah.
He's a Hamite. Comes out of Ham's son Cush. That's one of the biggest and longest empire was Nimrod's empire. The Cushite empire.
Come man, Esau took him out.
That was before the Egyptian empire.
Come. Oh,
They
okay.
even said that Ham, Nimrod went down there and helped started the Egyptian empire, was ruling over there. And there's a thing called the Norma palette. Most y'all are not familiar with that name, but the Norma palette is a big name of person of someone who supposed to have came down from the east in the Iraq area and ruled over Egypt. And some say that's Nimrod. The Norma palette. There's a palette with a Norma palette. There's a little stone that has his name and his picture and an animal on it. Call it the Norma palette. Norma is supposed to be someone that ruled Egypt, and some say he is Nimrod. Yes, sir.
No, I was just saying, that's where the Egyptians get all their hieroglyphs from,
Yes.
the head.
There are similar symbols in Egypt that also is in Mesopotamia.
Oh, wow.
In Sumer. Sumer which would predate Egypt. And it's even possible that some say that the Sumerians was the one that came down and started the Egyptian empire. The Sumerians did.
That's the area where that mummy was, where the Tom Cruise mummy was. That's the area.
But this is information they don't want to tell you this kind of stuff. Again, you have to do a lot of research. Again, you have certain scholars that will tell you, but when these scholars come out with these things, they're trying to suppress their information. But again, a little bit of common sense will show that what these scholars are saying makes complete sense. And the norm they're putting out there is a lie. You want to keep the lie going. Because when you start stripping down the lies down, then the truth starts to shine. You begin to figure out, man, this is a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. And they start getting exposed. All right, where we left off at?
We in verse 49.
49? Okay.
So Malcolm didn't.
That put Malcolm X, right? He was over here in America, we taught a whole bunch of lies about Muhammad.
Yes.
So when he went over there to the land and he saw Muslim was white, all different kind of white Muslims, you were like,
wait a minute.
Something wrong.
Something wrong, right?
Wait a minute.
They all sharing food, drinking the same
You know what I'm
drugs.
saying?
Wait a minute. This was not what I was taught.
It's a whole flip side. It's the opposite of what.
And they was calling them brothers.
Right.
It was all one.
Yeah, and helping him.
Yeah.
Right.
He can believe what he was saying.
Right.
So when he come back, he's conflicted,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
The same white man he been hating. He says you supposed to talk about Elijah Muhammad was actually in the East was his brother.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering, has it always been 7 continents, or it was just one big old slob of land?
It was one big line. One big line, and they had different names for it. One of them was Pangea.
Oh yes.
One circle land. Okay.
Okay.
And it's the flood, the Noah's flood that broke it up.
Oh.
And you see it today. That's what happened to it. You don't think God made it like this? This doesn't make any sense. You make it all broken up like this? It's crazy. You can see where South America then hooks up with the bottom of Africa, the way it is that it all fits together
Like a puzzle.
Like a puzzle. Fact, like a puzzle. So it was all one. We see it was all one land together at one point. And we read about this too in the book of can we get it?
Yeah.
In the book of Genesis, chapter 11. We're gonna pull this up right quick. We're gonna come right back and show this right quick. We left off in Exodus chapter 12, verse 49, right?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna come back. Matter of fact, let me stay here. I'm gonna just go to another page. So we can see this. Go to Exodus chapter 11, and we're gonna come on down. Somewhere up here. The days of this.
Can you say the book and chapter one more time, please?
Genesis chapter 11. Let me get the right chapter and verse right quick. It's chapter 11. 1 second here.
Chapter 11.
Let me get it's chapter 10, verse 25.
Oh,
Excuse
chapter
me.
10, okay.
Genesis chapter 10, verse 25.
All right.
Somebody reading it already?
No, we didn't read it yet.
Okay.
Exodus or Genesis?
Genesis
Yeah.
chapter 10, verse 25 is what we're looking for.
Hi, Property.
All right, do we have that?
Come.
Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 10, verse 25, and it reads, and unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan.
For in Peleg days, the earth, the ground, the land was divided. It's right after the flood. The land was splitting. In his day, the land had split up. Okay. It's not talking about that the people were. This is specifically speaking of the land itself. The earth itself was divided.
So that's going back to the one big land thing and it dividing up.
No.
Yes, yeah, but before this point here, which is going back before the Noah's flood, it was one big land.
Come on.
It was one big land. Can we get it in the book of Genesis? Let's go Genesis chapter 1. Yes, the first chapter. And let's get Genesis chapter 1 and let's get verse 6. We got that.
I got that.
Go ahead.
Reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 6, it reads, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.
So there was a firmament, something that was firm that split the waters in half, right? To divide the waters from the waters. I mean, you have some water over here, some water over there. All right. Go ahead.
And verse 7, and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which are above the firmament, and it was so.
Right. So you have something in the middle. The firmament is divided to the waters, some above and some above the firmament, and some beneath the firmament. Right. The firmament, because you're going to read, God called this firmament heaven. Right. So-called white men will lie you and call it the ozone layer. Ozone layer, bunch of nonsense. Right.
With a bird's twerk.
Ozone layer, rocks come to the ozone layer. It burns up in the atmosphere. Bunch of made up stuff. Bro. No such thing. Go ahead.
Verse 8, and God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second
So
day.
the firmament is heaven. This is known as the second heaven. All right. The third heaven is where God dwells, and the first heaven is where the birds fly. Then you have the second heaven here. Go ahead.
Verse 9, and God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so.
So there you have it, right? So God said, let all the waters under which heaven? The firmament. The firmament, he called heaven in verse 8.
Right.
So we're dealing with the waters under the firmament.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All the waters under the heaven, which is the firmament, be gathered together where? In one place. If we gathered in one place, right? Then it says what? Let the dry land appear. I mean, the dry land came up in the middle and it was surrounded by water.
Right.
Like an island.
Yes.
Like an island.
Yes.
Yes.
So it was one land, let the dry land appear.
Right.
And it was so. That's how it happened. The waters gathered together in one place around, and the dry land came up in the middle.
Right.
So it's one dry land, what they call Pangea, one big land, surrounded all of it by water.
Mhm.
This is what this verse right here tells you. Okay.
Yes.
All right, verse 10.
Verse 10. And God called the dry land earth.
He called the what?
The dry land earth.
The land that appeared in the middle, he called that earth.
Come.
Well, not divided, it was just one land, undivided at this point. Go ahead.
And the gathering together of the waters he called seas.
And all the waters around it, he called those seas, right?
Mhm.
Go ahead.
And God saw that it was good.
And God thought it was good, right?
Mhm.
So there are 7 seas, right?
Yes.
So there's more water than there's land.
Mhm.
All right, let's go back now. I just wanted to show that that's the original on one land before it was broken up after the flood.
Mhm.
You get the Peleg days in Genesis chapter 10, verse 25, see that the earth was divided. Remember,
Mhm.
God called the dry land what? Earth.
Yes.
And we were told in the 10th chapter, the 25th verse, that the earth, the land was divided.
Divided.
So it's
Yes.
the ground is speaking of that was divided,
Yes.
and not speaking of the people.
Yes.
Okay? Let's go back to where we was in Exodus. If there's no more questions, we can go back to Exodus. Again, anybody can stop us and ask questions at any time. Any questions you have, just pause us, excuse me, and we'll answer the question. If not, we're going to continue. Back to Exodus chapter.
One more
Yes,
question.
sir.
What is the difference between ocean and sea?
Between what?
The ocean and the sea.
They're kind of the same thing, depending on what you describe it. You know what I'm saying? They're basically the same thing, basically the same thing, right? Ocean and sea are the same thing. Any other questions before we go on? All right, go ahead.
Genesis chapter 12, verse 49. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you.
One law, yeah, go ahead.
Thus did all the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they.
Right, so this one law that's speaking of is speaking of that law that you gotta get circumcised, keep the Passover. Right, this is not speaking of that there's this one law like that for all non-Israelites and Israelites. There's no such thing in the Bible because the law tells us that a non-Israelite cannot be a priest and he can't be a king. So those two laws does not apply to no Israelite, it apply to non-Israelite. So there is no one law for both. The one law is this law is talking about, but they're keeping the Passover. They gotta get circumcised. Right? And that's if he bought it with money. And if they want to do, they gotta come and be a permanent resident in the land. That's the one law I'm speaking of. I want to bring clarity to the situation because again, they try to social intelligence and make you think there's only one law for everybody, which no, it is wrong. No, it is not. Go ahead.
Verse 51. And it came to pass the selfsame day that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.
Says it again, by their armies. We came out like an army out of Egypt. There wasn't ghosts and pigs running all over the place. But not how we was. It was an organized movement within the wilderness. The Most High is about organization, not about confusion. Out of order breeds a bunch of chaos. That's not what God is about. God is about getting things in order, getting correct, and that's how we moved in the wilderness. These people give a bad portrayal of how the Israelites moved in the wilderness consistently, which is completely wrong. What's up?
But it's like
Come.
okay, cool. All right.
Yeah. Let them lie to you like we some crazy people running through the wilderness all over the place, unorganized. We came out as an army. And that's why when we later on, we was actually getting vision of nations and fighting them in a war. But we was an army. We was multitasking. We are very versatile as a people.
Especially the salad.
We can go deal with a sheep. The same time come chop your head off, you get crazy. I want God commands. Just quick like that, cut your head off, go right to the sheep again. No problem.
Hey, brother, what chapter? What chapter are we in?
We just finished Exodus chapter 12. Just finished.
Okay.
Yeah, we're about to come to the renewed testament now. Let's come to the renewed testament, Matthew chapter 26.
Shalom, Mark.
You said Matthew what?
Chapter
Chapter
26.
26. We start at verse 1. Matthew, the 26th chapter, and we're going to start at the first verse. Let me pull this up right here. Come out of Exodus. Okay, come down. We come into accurately, it's called the Renewed Testament.
Oh.
There is no so-called New Testament because the first testament that was made with the nation of Israel is an everlasting so-called testament. Testament is another word for covenant is the correct word. The first covenant that was made with the children of Israel was an everlasting covenant. You can only renew an everlasting covenant. You cannot do away with an everlasting covenant. All right. As a matter of fact, we're going to prove it because they're going to say we're making stuff up. Can we come to the book of First Chronicles, the 16th chapter? And let me get to I think it's the 16th verse. You're looking for it here. Exodus, First Chronicles chapter 16. And let's start at verse.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
First Chronicles chapter 16. We're gonna start at verse 14. First Chronicles. Yeah. All right, who got that?
I got it.
Go ahead, brother.
You get 26.
All right. He is the Lord, our God. His judgments are in all the earth.
God's judgments is in the entire earth. God is the one judging and passing out these judgments over the entire earth. Is in all.
I'm sorry, chapter, brother.
First Chronicles chapter 16.
Okay, I'm right there with you.
Right. Go ahead.
Be ye mindful always of his covenant, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations.
So the covenant, which is the 10 commandments and the laws in the Old Testament, where we are, the word which he commanded said to 1,000 generations. That's how long? All right. 1,000 from when he said this to we not done no 1,000 generations yet. So we still under this covenant. This is way up beyond Jesus Christ. 1,000 generations, okay?
100,000 years.
You know, so there is no this covenant. This is how long this covenant is. Go ahead, brother.
Even of the covenant which he made with Abraham and of his oath unto Isaac.
Go ahead.
And hath confirmed the same to Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant.
See that? For an everlasting covenant. You cannot do away with an everlasting covenant. All you can do is renew it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be everlasting. If you can do away with it, then it wouldn't be considered as something that's everlasting. Mm-hmm. So what Christ did, he just renewed it. It's the same covenant. He just renewed it. We broke it, and then Christ's death renewed it. So we're coming back under the covenant, but under the umbrella of the Messiah. So the same thing that was required of us in the Old Testament for us to do, we required to do. With the addition of we got to believe that through the Messiah. He has to be our focal point. He has to be the one that we look at and follow to help us to fulfill this covenant, right? He's the one. So you have to have faith in him because he's the one that renewed. If he does not die and renews it, you are under the death penalty of a covenant that you broke. So what's happening to you if you don't believe in Christ, then the death penalty comes upon you. You put to death. He paid the price. They stepped in your place. So then now you didn't have to die. But because what he did, you have to now believe in him as your Lord and Savior, and then do what he tells you to do. And he said, keep Torah. He kept Torah, so you keep Torah. This is an everlasting covenant, right? That's why it's accurately a renewed covenant. I just wanted to show that. Let's go back to Matthew chapter 26, if there's no question. Right? Jesus Christ is accurately a human substitution. Right? In the Old Testament, when you commit a certain sin, you bring an animal, and the animal died for that particular sin that you did, right? It's a substitution. Instead of you dying, the animal died. It's the law of substitution. So Christ came and took our place. He was a human substitution. He took our place. I was saying because this Tanakh only people, God don't accept human sacrifice, the human substitution. But again, this is a lie. In fact, you can actually die for someone if you can choose to die for someone to take their place. There's a choice you can actually make.
Like it feels they kid or something.
That's a choice that Christ actually made. Yeah. Again, they have lost what they call the ancient path, the old ways. They're caught up in this modern day stuff. And that's not how it was back then. All right, who got Matthew chapter 26 starting at verse 1?
I got it.
All right, go ahead.
Matthew 26, verse 1. And it came to pass when Jesus had finished all these sayings, he said unto his disciples, ye know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified.
Right. So we are 2 days. We're after 2 days, right? After 2 days. So that's going up into the third day. After 2 days, right? After 2 is 3, correct? I'm looking at my math is correct.
Right.
After 2 is 3. So we ain't okay, good. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people unto the place of the high priest, who was called
Caiaphas. Go ahead.
And consulted that they might take Jesus by subtlety and kill him.
So they wanted to take him by subtlety and kill him. This is about 3 days before the Passover, right? Yes. Go ahead.
Verse 5. But they said, not of the feast day, lest there be an uproar among the people.
Right. So they didn't want to take him on the Passover. They're trying to do it before the Passover came, right? Take him in subtlety, trickery, and then kill him. Because if there's an uproar with the people, they got to go in and answer to the Romans for the uproar, right? But the Romans don't like uproar, because uproar means them uprising and fighting against the established order of the Romans. They don't want that. So the Pharisees was part of the people the Romans put in power to help keep down any kind of uprising, any kind of skirmish or uproar. They don't want to hear none of that. Rome don't like that. Rome just want their money. Give us our taxes and y'all stay in y'all place over there. Y'all just do that. That's all they cared about. Worship your God and do whatever else you're gonna do. Yeah, your king gonna come, whatever. Rome didn't care. They just want their money. And the Pharisees want to keep all of that stuff down. That's why they said, not on the feast. It is an uproar in the people. We don't want that. Because they got to go answer to Pilate and them other Romans that's there in the land and stuff like that that's going on. All right. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 5. But they said not to the feast day.
Not on the feast day.
Not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar among the people.
Go ahead.
Verse 6. Now when Jesus said in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, they came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat.
And he sat at meat, and he sat to eat. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The woman came and poured this very precious ointment on his head while he was sitting at meat, meaning while he was sitting eating. Right, he was eating.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 8. But when his disciples saw it, they had in the indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste?
Right. So his disciples had an issue. They thought it was just wasted, pouring it on his head. Go ahead.
For the ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor.
Right. So they're figuring they could have did better with it and just poured it on the Messiah's head. To help somebody that's poor. Instead of that instead of someone that's give it to the poor. All right, go ahead.
Matthew 26:10. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me.
Yeah, leave the sister alone. What she did was good. It was a good thing she did upon me. Right? Stop stressing her.
Give it to the poor.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 11. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always.
Yeah, you can always help the poor out. They with you always. I'm not here too long. You have enough time to do your thing with the poor. You might as well do something with me while I'm here, because I'm not here too long. Right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Verse 12. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial.
Yeah, she prepared him for his burial, right? She prepared him for his burial, but they don't understand what she was doing. He had to go there and explain it to them what she was doing. You have to prepare someone for their burial, right? She's pouring that ointment on. Again, these ointments are very important to pour on a dead body with the burial spices and different things you put upon the body, right? This is a pertinent because what happens is that you have demonic forces that been messing with these dead bodies and stuff, especially prominent prophets and men of God. When they die, these demons want to mess with their dead bodies and stuff like that. So a lot of these. That's why people have a bigger argument about where's the body of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and all these different people, right? God made it so that these men dead bodies are missing, because what would these people do with the body of these men?
Possess them and have them doing other
That's
stuff.
the demonic side. But then you have human beings who want to examine it, cut it open, and do all. If anyone's seen you've seen Get Out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to eat it and do all kinds of disgusting stuff with these men of God bodies. So God had all these bodies hidden. Why Christ took his with him when he left, disappeared and went up. You know what I'm saying? Going up with his. This is how people do, man. They do something with these mummies. They'll do a bunch of disgusting stuff with these mummies, man, that they not telling you. But God have all his prophets and his man bodies hidden. They can't find these different things. So they know how sick these people are today. All right. All right, go ahead.
Matthew 26:13. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, that there shall also this is in red, that the woman has done. And it says he told for a memorial for her.
Right. What she did, it would be told as a memorial, meaning it'd be spoken of what she did when this gospel is being preached in all the world. So we always go over and mention what this woman did to the Messiah. All right. Yes, sir.
Do they mention her name?
Doesn't mention her name. Right. Hold on. Let me see. The gospel author is kind of really speak on this situation. Let me see if another gospel author speaks. Yes, John brings her name. All right, can we get it in St. John chapter 12?
Okay.
We're gonna pull this up too as well. We're gonna stay right here. I'm gonna pull it over here. St. John's, the 12th chapter, is where we going. The question was the sister name? Was the woman, was her name mentioned? Is the question here. So let's get St. John's chapter 12. Let's read 1 down to 3.
Okay,
Just
I
get
got
the
it.
answer. Who got that?
I got it.
Go ahead.
Reading from the book of St. John, chapter 12, starting verse 1, and it reads, Then Jesus 6 days before the Passover came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead.
Okay, go ahead.
Verse 2. There they made him a supper, and Martha served, but Lazarus was one of them that sat at the table with him.
Go ahead.
Verse 3. Then took Mary a pound of ointment and spikenard, very costly, and anointed feet of Jesus, and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the odor of ointment.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. And he said one of the disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. Why was not the ointment sold for 300 pence and given to the poor?
I just want to go ahead and mirror and say that this is the same event you see right here. But keep on reading to verse 7.
Okay, verse 7. Verse 6, I'm sorry, verse 6. He said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief, and he had the bag and bare what was there was put thereon.
So Judas didn't say it because he cared for the poor. Judas was a thief.
Yes.
And he had the bag. He was the treasurer for the group.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew what was in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. Then said Jesus, let her alone against the day of my burying, as she kept this.
Right. You see right here, it says the same thing. I'm trying to remember what it says there in Matthew chapter 26. It's the same event. So St. John names her as Mary. Okay.
Okay.
I thought it was Mary. It'd be short.
Well, you know, there's 6 Marys in this gospel.
Okay.
6 of them.
Common name.
Common name. All right. Let's go back to Matthew chapter 26. And you was at verse
14, I think.
14. I think you was at 14. Yeah, verse 14. All right, who got that?
I'll take it on then.
Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priests and said unto them, what will ye give me, and I will deliver him unto you? And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver.
They made a contract with him. Mm-hmm. Right? Go ahead.
And from that time, he sought opportunity to betray him.
So from that time, Judas, once that contract was in place, he waited for an opportunity to betray the Messiah. Go ahead.
Now, the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover?
Right. So again, this you have to know your Old Testament and information here. Because obviously they are mistaken when they translate these things. Okay. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples, you can't come and then at the first day, this is Passover.
Right.
We just read it in Exodus chapter 12.
Mm-hmm.
You can't come and then tell him, where will thou that we prepare for you to eat the Passover? It's Passover.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this is not the first, this is not unleavened bread. Right. Because the word day and the word feast of all is in italics. So it is the first of unleavened bread. It's the first when you started to go and get the lamb and inspect it and everything else. You're talking about that first day unto the 14th day. to the 14th. We're gonna read it so they can say I'm making this up. Again, if you can't come and just prepare the Passover on the Passover,
You can't do that, no.
doesn't make no sense. The text tells you prepare before.
Yes.
Let's go back to Exodus chapter 12 and let's read it right quick so you can see it. Again, they're mistranslating the text there because it's the Greek. We know that the testimony is that Matthew wrote his gospel in Hebrew, wasn't in Greek. So the Greek we have comes from the Hebrew. All right. Can we get verse 3? Exodus chapter 12, verse 3.
All right, I'll take it.
Go ahead.
Reading from Exodus chapter 12, verse 3, it says, Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb and house.
So it's on the 10th day of the month. This is the 10th day of the month. Okay? They're gonna start it. You're supposed to start on the 10th day of the month. And from there you go on to the Passover, right? That's why we start off in Matthew chapter 26. It was after 2 days. It was 3 days, so they're on the 4th day, right?
Right.
This will be the 10th day that they're on, right? We're at the start. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And if the household be too little for a lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according of it to his eating shall make the count for the lamb.
And jump down to verse 6.
Okay, verse 6. And ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month.
Stop right there. So it's from the 10th day up to the 14th day. You're
Yes.
keeping it up to the 14th day.
Yes.
So you get the lamb on the 10th day.
Yes.
And keep it up to the 14th day. And the 14th day at even is when you kill him.
Yes.
So the 10th to the 14th day is when you're respecting it and make sure there's no blemish, everything is correct with it.
Yes.
Right? Getting all the leaven out of your house.
Yes.
And getting yourself prepared.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Let's go back now to Matthew.
Okay.
This is what actually the disciples are saying. All right. It's the first day of unleavened bread. Again, unleavened bread is the same thing as the Passover. Let's prove that before they say I'm making that up. Luke chapter 22, verse 1. Luke chapter 22, verse 1.
Chapter 22.
Yeah.
Luke chapter 22, and we're going to get verse 1. Go ahead.
Luke chapter 22, verse 1. Now the feast of unleavened bread drew near, nigh, which is called the Passover.
It's the same thing.
Right.
Unleavened bread and Passover is the same thing. They're following the exact same day. So when you hear Passover, same thing as unleavened bread. You hear unleavened bread, it's the same thing as Passover.
Yes.
Same thing. All right. Yeah, they fall in the exact same day. There's no separation. Some people separate these days separately. This is incorrect. You could not call it that if it was on 2 different days.
Right.
It's only makes sense if they fall on the same day. All right. So back to Matthew chapter 26, verse 17 says, Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread. Again, this is the first day of unleavened bread. What it's actually saying is they came to Jesus. Where he keep the Passover, right? Who was reading this anyway?
Me.
Go ahead from there, Isaiah.
Verse 18. And he said, Go into the city to such a man and say unto him, The master said, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples.
Right. There is a feast that you have right before the Passover. It's called a kakiga, a kakiga feast. It's a feast in ritual that you do right before the Passover. This is what they're speaking of them doing. Right, because at this feast right here, we're gonna read down, they eat no lamb. So they couldn't have been doing a Passover feast because you have to have lamb there. And it was also eating leavened bread. This is a fact check me, a kakiga feast that they did right before the Passover where they eat bread and wine. This is what they're doing here. But they also call it the Passover. It's a pre-Passover feast that are called the Passover. This was done in the 1st century.
But there's leavened bread at this one?
Huh?
There's leavened bread at this feast?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why we know this is the Passover. You have to have unleavened bread at Passover.
Say the name one more time.
Huh?
The name?
Kakiga.
Kakiga.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up.
Come.
I mean, I'm gonna pull it up so we can see it. You can Google it. I'm gonna pull it up. We went through this with other brothers. They was wrestling with this same situation here. Someone was arguing that it was a Passover feast. I'm like, this is not a Passover feast. It's not the Passover. There's no lamb here. They eat leavened bread. Then they said, but then what do they call it Passover? Then that's what they was wrestling with. We was wrestling with it. What did they call it Passover? And we pointed up and we found out this is a Kahiga feast that they call Passover, done in the 1st century. I'm gonna pull it so we can get. I want to finish it too, but we can pull up and show you and prove this is what they're dealing with here. The Messiah's dealing with here. All right, who was reading?
I was.
Go ahead, brother.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 19. And this disciple did as Jesus had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover.
Go ahead.
Now, when the even was come, he sat down with the 12.
Okay, what verse are you at?
Verse 21.
Okay. Go ahead.
And as they did eat, he said, verily I say unto you that one of you shall betray me.
Go ahead.
And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I?
So they all want to know who was going to betray him. He said, when are you going to betray me? And they all got sorrowful. Who was it? Is it me? Go ahead.
And he answered and said, he that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, that same shall betray me.
Him that, so we know who it is, right? That dippeth in the dish with me, the same going to betray me. Go ahead.
24. The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him, but woe unto the man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born.
Wow. Dang. Better for that man than having been born to betray the Messiah. Go ahead.
25. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him, Thou hast said.
Yes. So that's another way to say, it's you.
Yeah.
In other words, you said it. Yes, sir.
He told on his own self.
Yeah. You said it, not me.
After he dipped the bread in a cup.
Yeah. So it was Judas is the one. Is it me? I mean, it's yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like you said it.
He knows him. Go ahead.
Verse 26. And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, Take, eat, this is my body.
Right. So hold on, I'm gonna go and pull this word bread because this is again when you read it, they confuse you because they go back and forth with bread and unleavened bread and leavened bread and so on and so forth, right? But I want to pull this up here. We can see in the Hebrew, well, in the Greek, not in the Hebrew. Excuse me. We're gonna pull this in the Greek. What that word there, bread, means, so we can see. Is it? Remember, they have to have unleavened bread here.
Well, you're not gonna be able to see it, and then you had to use the other other website.
Yahweh's are daily unleavened bread. So please give us this day our daily bread, forgive us for our trespasses.
Yeah, so we're gonna pull up this word here so we can see when it says took bread, is it leavened bread or is it unleavened bread? All right. That was in verse what, 18?
18?
Oh no, okay, we're gonna get to it. 26.
Yeah, 26.
I'm gonna share this. Let me share it for people that can see it. What I am saying, I just clicked on bread in verse 26. Matthew 26:26. I'm gonna clicked on it. I'm gonna share what we have here.
There you go. Sharing
So
it.
we have right here. It says it's artos.
Mhm.
It says bread. It says as raised. Let me highlight it right here. That's leavened bread. When it rises, because it has leaven in it.
Yes.
It's bread as raised or a loaf.
Yes.
Or the show bread and loaf. So it's showing you right here. This is leavened bread because it rose up. It got leaven in it.
It come.
So they're eating leavened bread. You can't be a Passover because you cannot have leavened bread at Passover. You have to have unleavened bread. There's no way the Messiah is breaking the Passover eating leavened bread.
Not at all.
You want to say something, Tony?
Oh, and unleavened bread is the yeast inside the bread that blow it up.
Unleavened bread is not. There's no yeast in the bread. It was unleavened.
Come.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no,
The
no
yeast in there is
yeast.
what makes it rise.
Come.
Yes. Right. So let me stop sharing now. I just wanted to show you this leavened bread they're eating. All right.
No yeast for wheat.
Again, if those that want to argue the point that he was eating a pass, he is a Passover, eating himself. Where are you? You cannibal? He eat himself.
Flesh of my flesh.
Let's go and read it. Go back to Matthew 26. I wanted to show you again. I was arguing with Sakari. I said, can you show me any verse in the Bible in this feast took place where they had any lamb? Because they argue me it's a Passover because it says Passover. I said, well, okay, no problem. Show me where they ate lamb at in any one of these gospel records. Well, I can't show you, but it says, I know it says Passover. I'm not arguing the point that it doesn't say Passover. I'm making the point that there was no lamb there and it came to Passover without lamb. Then why I said Passover? That's when we researched it and we found out that it was a Passover feast right before the real Passover that they call Passover. And then I explained it all the way, and I explained it perfectly right.
And eating leavened bread.
And it would eat because if the Messiah was doing that, he's violating the Passover.
He can't.
Now he's blemished now.
Right.
He's be blemished.
He's eating bread with them.
Right. Can't do that. At this time, all leaven got to be out your house anyway. He's supposed to be moving all that stuff out your house anyway. Let's go back to Matthew chapter 26.
Verse 26.
We go 26 again.
26.
Yes, sir.
2626.
Okay, y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 26. And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, take, eat, this is my body.
So that's a symbolic of his body. It's similar to what we see Melchizedek does when he brings Abraham. He brings with Abraham bread and wine.
Bread and wine.
Right? And symbolically in the past, in the first century, when you wanted to get a woman or a wife, or you wanted to try to engage with her, what you would do is you pour a cup of wine and you put it in the table in front of her. And if she drinks it, she's accepting the proposal. If she don't, she's saying, I'm good. I'm straight. So drinking bread and wine is symbolic of them starting into having a contract or a commitment to doing something. All right. So he said, this is my body which is broken for you. This is all going off to here. You're in the covenant, but it's making a contract with the disciples of them because they got a lot of stuff to do. They're making a commitment to doing the Messiah's work, what he wants to do. That's why when he dies and resurrects, they go out and they doing who? His work.
Right. Okay.
Doing his work. And this is where we see the contract coming in and he's doing it with them. Otherwise, what is he doing here then? What does it all mean? We sitting down breaking bread and saying stuff and that's all it means? Stop it. Why waste my time go through all that if it doesn't mean nothing? There's gotta be more to it than just that.
Right.
All right, who was reading?
I was.
Go ahead.
27. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sin.
Right. So again, this is a renewed covenant. right? The word there, new, Greek, neos, is speaking of something that's renewed. And the word there, the testament, is actually the word for covenant. It's a renewed covenant, which is shed, is again, it is shed for who? For many, right? Christians will argue that he died for the whole world. He, out of his own mouth, said his blood is shed for many. Doesn't say for the entire world. Everybody that's living. Are the Messiah's own? So the Messiah don't know who he died for now? Is that what you're saying? His own word says he was dying for many, not for the whole world, which is shed for many for the remissions of sin. Even he's saying it out of his own mouth. I think he would know if he died for everybody on the earth. I think he would know that. He's one that died. You know what I'm saying?
The father didn't share it with him.
I come for the lost sheep of the house
Father
of
didn't-
Israel.
But you saying he is the father? Which one is it? He would know
Right,
if he
right,
is the
right,
father.
right. He is the father. So
Yeah,
he,
according to you.
yeah, right. Even though he could be in two places at once.
Yeah. But you don't know he died for everybody though. Okay. Yeah. All right. Gotcha. That complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
Who was reading?
I was.
Verse 29. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom.
I won't drink of the fruit of the vine.
Right.
Until that day of drinking new with you in whose kingdom?
Father's kingdom.
Well, I thought he was the father. Why didn't say my kingdom? Doesn't say my kingdom, it says his father's kingdom.
Right.
He's the son.
So now God got a father.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Right.
So the father got a father.
Mm-hmm.
No sense. So Christ is getting ready to go into his priestly duty. So when you officiate in the tabernacle in Moses' days and in the temple, the priest will drink no wine, right? So he's about to go into his priestly duties in the order of Melchizedek. That's why he says, "I'm not drinking no wine with you."
Right.
I'm getting ready to go into my priestly thing. So I like at the end.
Right.
But when I get into my father kingdom, when all that is already accomplished and everything is done, then I can drink that with you. All right. At this point right here, I can't do it. Right? He's going to priestly mode right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's why I'm drinking no wine.
Right.
All right. Go ahead.
Verse 30. And when they had sung and hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives.
Go ahead.
Then said Jesus unto them, all ye shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad.
So that was fulfilled. Go ahead.
But after I am risen again, I will go before you into Galilee.
Right. He's saying all this stuff, and they're not this stuff that registered into the apostles, the disciples, and head. You know what I'm saying? Because again, at this point, they understood that the Messiah is going to come and liberate them from the
Romans.
They don't understand they're going to die first. All right. So
Right.
That's when one ear not the other ear.
Right.
Him dying and okay.
And if he would have told them, they would have protected him. Like, now we're not letting you die. You're not dying. Like,
They were saying that. They were saying that you wasn't going to. What Peter was saying.
Mm-hmm. It must have been one of the parables we don't understand.
Peter pulled out his sword and went crazy.
Especially my body. My body is bread. And,
at this point, they don't believe he's gonna die. No, in fact, none of them did.
Yeah.
None of them understood that he gotta die first. You know what I'm saying? You would even have some today who said the same thing from the Tanakh, the Old Testament only side. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand that the Messiah is gonna die. Again, that shows that they don't understand the Old Testament because it clearly tells you all over the place that he got to die. Go ahead.
Verse 33. Peter answered and said unto him, though all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended.
That's why it's best that you just keep your mouth shut. People love to jump up and say what they're gonna do when they really ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'll do this, and no, you ain't. When you really get tested to what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the saying is, your mouth is is writing a check that you can't
Yeah,
behind can't cash. This is what he's doing right here. They call it today, he jumped out the window. He jumped out the window and said something. Go all men leave you. I ain't leaving you. I'm standing strong with you all the way to the end. They'd be offended. I ain't never going to get offended. Not me. That'd be the first one to get offended. The first one. If you ain't ready to do it, be quiet. Don't say nothing. All right, go ahead.
Verse 34. Jesus said unto him, verily I say unto thee, that this night before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice.
So he jumping out the window saying what he ain't gonna do. Christ gonna right back and saying you gonna do it 3 times. And that's usually how it goes. Because once you jump out the window and say stuff like that, you know who's listening.
Hashatan.
He like, is that right? Let's see. Let's see. Is that right? Let's see. You start moving in pieces in there and see what you gonna do. All right, go ahead.
Verse 35. Peter said unto him, though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee. Likewise, also said all the disciples.
Y'all say, oh man, we ready to die.
What?
We ready to die for you, man. We ain't gonna deny you. We ain't doing none of that.
You die, we all dead. Huh?
Judas said that too, because it said all the disciples said that. Judas was here too?
I think Judas had left.
Okay, yeah, because he had dipped out. He like,
getting ready to betray him.
Come.
Go ahead.
36. Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, sit ye here while I go and pray yonder.
Wait a minute. Who is God praying to? If he's God, who's he praying to? Prayer is when you pray to someone that's more powerful than you to do something that you yourself can't do. Is that what? Isn't that how prayer goes?
Yeah.
Who is he going to go pray to if he's supposed to be God?
Holy Spirit? No.
Oh,
You know that's what they're gonna say.
He prayed to himself.
Oh.
That's what he prayed to.
He can do
I
that.
picture
Only
they
a
would say
lunatic
that
prays
too.
to himself. Pray to yourself for what?
Yeah, you
I'm
just
pray to
do it.
myself to do something I can do already.
Come. Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
Praising himself.
Go ahead.
Verse 37. And he took with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and heavy and very heavy.
Go ahead.
Then said he unto them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me.
Right, tell her right here and stand watch till I go over here. Go ahead.
39. And he went a little farther and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt.
Right. So this way again, this way I trap up these Trinitarians and and these Jesus God stuff. Right. I said, well, right here it shows 2 different wills. He says, not as I will, but as you will. Is that 2 wills right here? They come right here and they wrestle and they flip and they twist their face up and they want to argue. They one will is not going across. One will is for him to go on across. It's 2 wills right here. If you're saying that they're one, there shouldn't be 2 wills here. That's 2 separate beings. So that Trinity stuff goes right out the window.
It's not what my will would be my Father's will.
Right. You shouldn't have 2 wills in one God. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. They said, well, it's one God manifests in 3, and then use the wrong word. They use the word person. Person is the wrong word to use. I wouldn't use person. I would use entity or something. Right. Don't use person, but they use the word person. They have to show you that they don't understand what they're even saying. Go ahead.
Verse 40. And he cometh unto the disciples and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Peter, what could ye not watch with me 1 hour?
When you couldn't stay up for an hour, 60 minutes. Go ahead.
41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak.
That's him giving you game right there.
Mm.
He said, but pray and watch that ye enter not into temptation. You don't even, it's coming. It's always coming to test you, to tempt you. You got to consistently watch and pray. Watch what's going on. Stay in prayer mode, always. I don't leave my house without praying. I ain't crazy to go out there in that world without praying. There's too much going on out there.
I'm good.
You might not come back. That's just how bad it is out there nowadays. There's so many ways you can die out there. You don't even know. The only protection is you gotta have that. You be prayed up. The Bible said pray without ceasing.
Come.
Don't go out there without praying. I'm telling you, don't do it. Might be that day you don't come back home. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, and that's where that lazy spirit gets to kick in. You don't want to do this, make you feel, I don't feel like reading my Bible. I don't feel like praying. I don't feel like doing this. Not that flesh messing you up, get you in a whole lot of trouble. You got to overcome that. Go ahead.
Verse 42. He went away again the second time and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done.
There it is.
Mm.
If it ain't gonna pass from me, then let your will be done. It's a hard thing where you gotta go die and you got to make submit and say let God's will be done. It's a hard thing because we're not disciplined enough to fulfill the will of God. Because sometimes the will of God is hard for you to fulfill. It's hard. People in this world is not with all that because they're not gonna be humble and take low. You can't disrespect someone and they're gonna let that pass.
Yeah,
They don't move like that.
They take like a death stance, like I'm even willing to die for it.
They don't want to let nothing. They don't want to
place.
let nothing go. Is the point? They don't want to let anything go. Anytime someone wrong them, they don't let nothing go. They have to do something to you, say something back. They can't just say no, I'm let that go. They in the world, they're not gonna do that. They don't move like that.
I ain't gonna let that ride.
They let no disrespect go. You know what I'm saying? Like they have not disrespect other people as well. I mean, again, it's just talk. They just talking. They ain't not done nothing to you. You say what they want to say. You know what I'm saying? You say whatever they want to say. They're trying to push your buttons. No matter what they're trying to push your buttons. What's all they're trying to do? You allow them to push your buttons. Just like, oh man, whatever. Just keep it pushing. You let it go. Yeah, I thought so. All right, keep going.
Come on.
You're right. You got it. You're right. Do that. That's the will of God.
Take low. Come
Right.
on.
If at all possible, live peaceably with all men. Right. That's what it do.
That's possible.
If at all possible, but sometimes they be in your face, you be like, well, listen, man, I'm trying to walk away. You can't get in my face.
Right.
But that's what God wants you to do. The way this world is going, it doesn't move like that. Right? It's hard for them to let something go, man. And I know it's a hard thing to do. You gotta discipline yourself to let something go.
Because we're commanded to be wise as serpents.
Listen, if you don't let stuff go, then we all be dead.
Come on.
Because where does it stop? Where does it stop?
It ain't healthy. Like
Well, I mean, it isn't like when there's someone disrespect you like that, I'm going to just hit him or something. You're talking about killing.
Yeah.
Someone has to say, man, I'm going to take that and keep it going. So you can end that cycle. Let's continue to go. Someone has to do it. The Messiah was the first one to step in and say, all right, I'm going to end it. You take y'all place. We got to follow his footsteps and do what he said, right? Take low, be humble. Where we left off at?
We was in verse 43.
Go ahead.
Verse 43. And he came up and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy.
They were tired. Go ahead.
And he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words.
So 3 times you went back. Did the same thing 3 different times. Go ahead.
45. Then cometh he to the disciples and said unto them, Sleep on now and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners.
Yeah. Scribes and Pharisees.
Mm.
Go ahead.
46. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doth betray me.
Right. The betrayer is here. Go ahead.
And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staffs from the chief priests and elders of the people.
Chief priests, scribes, elders of the people, Pharisees.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
48. Now he that betrayeth him gave them a sign, saying, Whomsoever I shall kiss is the same, is he, hold him fast.
Right. So now he given them a sign because they were in a garden. Of course, it's night, it's dark. Right? All so-called black men. They are like, well, which one is it? He said, I'm gonna give you a sign. I'm gonna kiss him. When I kiss him, that's the one. Grab him. You know what I'm saying? That's the sign that he's giving them in a garden that's dark. The soldiers don't know which one to grab. You know what I'm saying? He have to give him a sign which one to grab. Go ahead.
49. And forthwith he came to Jesus and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him.
Go ahead.
And Jesus said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Hamashiach Yahushua and took him.
There it is. They betrayed Christ with a kiss. And they grabbed him. Go ahead.
51. And behold, one of them which were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck and servant of the high priest and smote off his ear.
All right. So again, the apostles was not walking around with no sword. He didn't pull a sword out and cut nobody's ear off. Okay. These are fishermen. Fishermen walk around with swords. The Roman would have arrested them a long time ago. Mm-hmm. This was a little sharp dagger knife that you clean fish with. It's a little knife that you walk around and clean fish with because they're fishermen. He took that out and he cut off the dude's ear with it. That's what he did. And we know it was Peter. They wasn't walking around with swords. These guys want to give you the impression that the apostles walking around with swords. That's not what they were doing.
Like the letter cutter signs.
Yeah. If they was, the Romans would have arrested them. You listen, you let 13 black men right now walk around with guns, brandished right now. What happened to them? Let them do it right now. What happened to them? In our time. What happened to them?
Injunction,
Those
gun
people
down.
used to be all over them.
They'd probably just gun them down. Like, we ain't gonna give them that.
Walk around with no swords. Just a little fisherman knife. We cut his ear off with it. And you can fact check me, look it up. People think I'm making stuff up. You gotta make common sense of what we're reading here.
Fishermen swords are sharp, man. They are sharp. Yeah, that cut a ear off.
Listen, they wasn't going around with a. If you had swords, is when you get ready to go to war, physical war, and fight. That's not what they would do. Mm-hmm. So there's no need for that. But you do need a little small sword because you're a fisherman and clean the fish with, right? Remember they fed 4,000 with 2 loaves, with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. The fish didn't have scale; they got to scale off the fish, and now they cut the fins off and cook it. Right. So you would need a little knife to do that with. This is what he pulled out and cut his ear off with. All right, who was reading?
Me.
Go ahead.
52. Then said Jesus unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword.
Yeah, there it is right there. That's why they walk around with swords. And that live by the sword shall die by the sword. They didn't want that for them, right? This was the feature they were trying to do in the beginning, in the mission. Go ahead.
53. Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he said he can pray to his, again, he can pray to himself because he's supposed to be God the Father. He can pray to himself and he can send himself more than 12 legions of angels, according to what these Christians be teaching. Go ahead.
54. But how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled, that thus it must be?
It must be fulfilled. How is it gonna be fulfilled if he don't die? Because the scriptures already say he's gonna die. So this thing has to happen. Go ahead.
55. In that same hour said Jesus to the multitudes, are ye come out as against a thief with sword and staff for to take me? I sat daily with you teaching in the temple, and ye laid no hold on me.
Go ahead.
But all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled.
Just as he said, I was smite the shepherd and the sheep are scattered. So they fled. Right. Once they arrested him, remember they was all saying earlier they were saying we will die with you and all that.
Come.
Right? They'll be offended. We ain't gonna be offended. As soon as the soldiers came,
right,
they were gone. Oh. The test came right afterwards and they were gone. But after they said it, they scat out of there.
Man.
Ride for you, gonna die for you. Them soldiers.
Hey man, people say a lot of stuff they really don't mean.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? When people say a lot of stuff to you, man, you can take it with a grain of salt and be like, don't be expecting them to follow through on that because a lot of that's why you get disappointed. Some of that stuff they're saying they ain't gonna do. You know what I'm saying? That's how you gotta look at it, you know. Because if you expect them to do it and they don't do it, then now you're upset. Now it's just a problem. You gotta see, oh man, sometimes they just talking, man. They ain't really gonna do that.
And they the Messiah saying this though, out of all people, like you with the truth spitting lies.
Facts.
Turning coward.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 57. And they that had laid on hold on Jesus led him away to Caiaphas the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled.
Go ahead.
But Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest palace, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end.
So Peter went to Egypt and see what was going on. We want to know what's going to happen. So we got in there with the servants to see the end of the Messiah. Go ahead.
59. Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Jesus to put him to death.
Yeah. Wicked men. They want to get false witness. A lot of people are speaking the truth. They want to put him to death. Go ahead.
But found none.
Zero. Go ahead.
Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At this last came two false witnesses.
Go ahead.
And said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to build it in 3 days.
Go ahead.
And the high priest arose and said unto him, answering thou nothing. What is it which these witnesses against thee?
So the Messiah is not saying nothing. He just listening to them talk. Go ahead.
But Jesus held his peace, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of the Most High.
Right. So we see right here, they understood that the Messiah is the Son of God. The Messiah is not the son of Joseph. But trying to teach us Joseph had sex with Mary, had Jesus. They all understand the Messiah is the Son of God, not the son of no Joseph, not no fleshly man.
And they didn't call him that. Back then, they like son of Joseph, son of Daniel, something. They normally call him by that.
Well, and you have a man calling him that, but nobody from heaven called him that. He ain't called himself that. Anyone understand the prophecy wouldn't get called him nothing like that. And if that's the case, then they keep got to explain to us why does Joseph try to disown his own child? He's trying to divorce Mary because she was pregnant. You gonna disown your own child? So
Just
you know, a
now,
little ridiculous contradiction that, you know, doesn't make no sense. If it doesn't make no sense, usually it's a lie. So the truth makes sense. Go ahead.
verse 64. Jesus said unto him, Thou hast said, nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven.
Yep. Told him that. You're gonna see it. Go ahead.
Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, He hath spoke blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses? Behold, behold, now ye have heard his blasphemy.
Blasphemy, lie. Message has been received. His blasphemy said he's lying. He's telling lies. You ever heard his lies for yourself? Again, and the high priest rent his clothes. He's violating the Torah. The high priest is supposed to rent his clothes. He's not supposed to do that according to the Torah. The high priest cannot rent his clothes. He's up there violating the Torah. All right, go ahead.
66. What think ye? Then answered and said, He is guilty of death.
Go ahead.
Then did they spit in his face and buffet him, and others smote him with the palm of their hands.
You got to take all of that. Again, see what I'm saying? So what Christ did, took spit in the face. You can't do that today to nobody. They're gonna knock your head off, do something like that to them.
Spitting them and slapping them in the face.
Spit in his face, buffet them, beat them. You know, smack with the palms of their hand. With the palm of their hand, they smacked them. Took that. You can't do that today to nobody. They're gonna put you in a coffin for something like that. Spit in their face, smack with the palm of your hand. Oh, you dead.
A few wrong words.
Yeah, they're coming to kill you. They're gonna sit up there and take that. That's a hard thing to take, bro. But they claim that we follow Christ. Well, Christ got spit in the face and slapped in the palm of his hand and he did nothing. Are you following that? Nah, I ain't following that. You gonna lost it, bro. But I'm not doing it. Well, how you a follower of Christ then?
I'm gonna turn the other cheek.
They just talking about they following. They ain't finna do that. They ain't following really. You sound good. Anyway, they ain't really following. You're not really doing it.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
Hard pill to swallow. As I say, in the easy thing to be saying you're a follower of Christ. And the easy thing to be saying that because when push comes to shove, you put in that position to see if you really follow. Man, they just focus real quick.
I do think that is the ultimate disrespect of a line where you spit in a person's face and slap them up. Like, nah, I just can't take that. I can't. Sorry, that is hard to. I mean, you probably swing on a person. Oh, I ain't trying to fight you, man. You might come back with a crowd or get them later. They're not taking the slaps and spit in the face. I don't know too many humans rocking with that. And that should be not like, hey, next day.
It's a hard thing to do, man. Wait, that's what happened. That's what happened to the apostles and them. They have to do that. They have to go to that. Right? They can't retaliate. I argue with my brothers I come up with about this stuff, and these brothers, I'm like, dude, you're talking about you can't. I said, dude, you cannot do nothing. What you mean you can't do nothing? The text said you can't do nothing. What are you talking about? The apostles didn't do anything. Remember they beat him and arrested him and all that? They did nothing. And when my God being tall again, then he said, I'm gonna get these Pharisees, man. You know, do something to them. Do none of that. If there's one person that could do something to people, it would have been the Messiah.
God.
I'm right or wrong. Listen,
Right.
if I can raise the dead and cast out demons and do all that, I can definitely do you something.
Yes.
Can I not? I can do you something if I really wanted to.
Walk on water.
Walk on water. I can do you something if I wanted to. All right, who was reading?
Me.
Go ahead.
Verse 68, saying, prophesy unto us, though Christ, thou Christ, who is he that smote thee.
Go ahead.
Now Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, thou also was with Christ of Galilee.
Yeah, you was with him. You was with the man that was up in there. You was with him, man.
That's your man.
That's your man's right there. Go ahead.
Verse 70, but he denied before them all, saying, I know not what thou sayest.
Damn. All the words he said, eating them. Denied. Go ahead.
71. And when he was gone out into the porch, another maid saw him and said unto them that were there these fellows was also with Jesus of Nazareth.
Yeah, this guy right here was with him. He was with him. He was one of them guys rolling with him. Go ahead.
And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man.
With an oath. He put it on something.
Ooh.
He put it on something.
Mm.
Go ahead.
And after a while came unto him they that stood by and said to Peter, surely thou art one of them, for thy speech bewareth thee. Bewareth thee.
Yeah, you one of them. You talk, you got an accent. People in Galilee speak with a certain accent. So when Peter's talking, they're like, man, you one of them. Yeah, your speech is giving you away, she's saying. Because she's saying that this man from Galilee and people in Galilee talks like that. Your accent is giving you away, is what she's saying to him.
And we seen you with him.
But I ain't gonna see what your accent is giving you away. You know what I'm saying? People talk a certain way, like, oh, you from so and so.
Yeah.
You from so and so. People like to say, oh, they people got that New York accent.
New York accent.
They actually from New York. Yeah, son. What up, cousin? Oh yeah, you know like that. All that New York stuff.
Yeah.
Son, I swear I wasn't over there, son.
All right, go ahead.
74. Then began he to curse and to swear, saying, I know not the man. And immediately the cock crew.
Immediately the cock crew. Immediately the cock crew. Again, he was not using bad words. When he said he was cursing, he wasn't using bad words. He was swearing again. That's what he's saying he was doing. He was swearing again. Right? Again, he's missing the lesson where he says that you're not supposed to be swearing falsely. That's what he's doing here. He's swearing falsely. You can swear, but it's got to be in truth. Right? Especially if you swear, I swear to God. If you swear to God, it better be true. Better be the truth. I know not the man immediately the cock crew. Go ahead.
75. And Peter remembered the words of Hamashiach Yahushai, which said unto him before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. And he went out and wept bitterly.
Yeah, so you remember what the Lord had told him. that he would do that. And it came to pass. Further proof that was the Messiah right there.
The prophecy, right there.
Prophesy what you're gonna do and happen. And it came to pass right there, front of your face. Came to pass. And he went out and wept bitterly. Again, but as you can see, Peter wasn't finished though. Peter became one of the pillars of the church. So I'm saying you can make mistakes, man. That doesn't mean it's the end for you. You know what I'm saying? You could always come back from the mistake that you made. That's the big lesson. That you can come up from the mistake that you made. Even the mistake of you going as far as denying the Messiah. You can bounce back from that if you recognize what you're doing and get back on it. You know what I'm saying? If you can't continue in your denial, you got to recognize what I'm doing, man, when I'm off. So Peter, he cried bitterly. He was sorry for what he was doing. You got to be the same way and get back on the right path before it be too late for you. With that, we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna leave it there. We have enough time to get one more. It's too late. I want to thank everybody for coming on, spending this Passover with us. I guess Brother Mathis, you there? I guess he's not there. How you doing, sister? Thank you for coming on with us, sister, for listening to the class, sister. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
You're actually on mute, sister. You were saying something. We couldn't hear you because you was on mute. All right, tell Brother Mathis, man. Thank you for coming on. I guess he's busy.
Unmute your mic if you can.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
I had the phone. Sorry, I was reading.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, shalom, brother. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, brother, man. We're about to shut it down, man. Thank you for coming on, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all for having me.